How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of Frankenstein. He's one of the strangest tales ever told. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. Well, we've warned you.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the Frankenstein Minute, where we dissect the Universal Frankenstein series minute by minute. I'm Tom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson.
This is minute 9 of 1931's Frankenstein.
It's the one.
The one.
I remember it.
Yep.
This is one thing happened. Well, I guess. No, okay. This is the one where...
This is the one.
It's the one where Fritz breaks in, yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it starts out before that, actually.
Well, there's the wide shot of everybody exiting the auditorium.
Yeah, and I noticed that Waldman has, like, kind of a cool style. Like,
Yeah,
his
he's
jacket
like-
kind of hangs down low. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
he's like
He's got a style to him.
Yeah.
And he's doing his cuffs.
Doing up his cuffs.
He's not,
he's
not, he doesn't look that way by accident.
No.
He means it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all work. He's got something to do.
He's well, again, you know, that stein of beer.
That's right.
Not gonna drink
Those
itself.
brains are gonna remain there for your inspection, but I'm out of here.
I'm done.
My day is over. Nothing sort of gets him, you know, psyched for the weekend. I'm picked this a Friday, you know, then like cutting bodies apart and having sex with brains or whatever he's doing.
He does. In his spare time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and so you know, I get how a window works. It's it's got a window sill on the outside, so it's easier to lift up the window from the inside than it is from the outside because there's more wood along the outside of it. So cleverly, Fritz takes a stick.
Yeah, he takes his little staff. He's nobody's fool.
Oh man, never thought of that.
He's nobody's fool.
So they've got X-rays, but not window locks.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, security is probably not a huge issue.
I guess. Why?
Well,
I don't know.
though. They would probably have drugs in there, so you I don't know.
That's a good point.
I
Would
don't
they
know.
have drugs in there? Yeah, they'd have to have drugs
They'd
in
have
there.
some.
It's
Yeah.
a medical college.
It's a medical college.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess.
Anyway.
we don't have a time or place for any
We
of this.
don't.
But
And,
it's,
but anyway, nobody thinks to lock the window.
You're right. That's right.
It's a small town. Everybody knows
It
everybody.
seems like a small... I think this is
important.
important.
It is.
Seems like a small town. I think that's really crucial.
It does.
I'm kind of surprised it hasn't come up yet. Because I think it'll color everything we're going to see for the next 10 years or whatever. It works if it's a small town, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, clearly everybody knows the Frankensteins.
Right. Well, okay.
Coming up, we'll see.
All right.
We all know the Frankensteins.
Okay. Well, they do now.
They will
They
now.
will. Yeah.
Like it or not.
Yep.
It's a great, the wide shot where Fritz comes in. It's a great shot.
Yeah.
Really nice expressionistic lighting.
Yeah.
Again, that's a great set.
Mm-hmm.
Big, voluminous set like that.
Yeah.
This auditorium.
Absolutely.
And I think it's bigger than it needs to be.
Yep.
You
I
know,
agree.
Which adds to that. Everything in this film is just a little bigger than it needs to be. And we'll see even more of that in the sequel. Where
Yeah, true.
Everything is gigantic.
Right. Right. Well, and so after everybody clears out, they turned off some of the lights.
Right.
So now it's lit really cool
Yes,
too.
yes.
Yeah, it
Again,
looks
that
great.
expressionistic-
Those lights that he was using to examine the body or whatever are now just a shadow
Yep.
on the wall. They're kind of creepy looking.
Yep.
The whole production design, I guess they call it production design,
Yeah.
set design of this is amazing. It's
Well, that's
everything's there's knickknacks and bric-a-brac.
Yeah. The
You've
sets
got
are very detailed.
Yeah.
Very lived in.
Yeah, well, right, and it seems for the most part to be legit, like human anatomy stuff. You've got a skeleton or whatever, but in one of those windowsills along the back there, well, not the back where Fritz comes
like
in,
the side
but
wall. Yeah.
it looks like it has Michelangelo's David in it.
Yeah, there's
I
like a-
think
there's-
It
yeah,
might
there's
even
a-
be missing the arms. I can't
There's a
tell.
statue up there, yeah.
Yeah, and then the window where Fritz comes in, there's a bong. Somebody left their bong there. There's like
Oh, I
a
didn't
bong.
even
It just
notice.
looks totally like a
Okay.
bong. Now, here's why I noticed it was because I was looking back at the previous minute to see if that insert shot of the students with the pencil and all that was the same day. I wanted to just get a feel for when it was.
The
and
production.
I thought, oh, the bong is there. So it's definitely the same room. It doesn't look, that angle is so restricted that you can't tell for sure.
The close-up of Fritz?
Except for that, no, not the close-up of Fritz, just the shot of the students is more restrictive because most of the stuff we're talking about, the skeletons and all that stuff, is a little bit off to the right of that.
Yeah.
It's up front where you can see it. Everybody's got to be able to see the... There's like a head. There's like a drawing of the inside of a head.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that I guess is useful.
Well, if anything, it just adds to the verisimilitude of the set. And Danny Hall, who did
Danny Hall, I remember, no, I don't know what that is. I was gonna make a Woody Allen joke.
Yeah, okay.
Never mind.
Did the production design? It was very meticulous.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of these Universals, where especially the Laemmle era. Very detailed.
The good era.
The good era.
You definitely lose. Yeah, you definitely
you lose a lot
that.
of that. Yeah, they become very slick in the 40s, very streamlined, very much a 40s looking.
Boring, more boring.
Yeah, and they're shot like an Abbott and Costello movie, which I love Abbott and Costello movies, but you lose a lot. You don't get this shadowy depth that you do in the Laemmle films. Right. Even the lesser ones, I think, look better.
And it's been said that you shoot a comedy differently generally,
yes.
or at least you can get away with it. I think it was Wells that said that Chaplin could just set the camera down and point it at Charlie Chaplin, and he's a great director.
Yeah.
But same time, Buster Keaton was making beautiful films that were hilarious.
Look beautiful and they're funny. Yeah.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail is great.
Right.
Whatever. So but you can get away with it.
You can get away with the flat.
Yeah. Not like Plan 9, where there's nothing good.
You really don't
happening.
get away with anything.
So it's a big part, and it's something that we're just going to harp on about for months about this film and the next one, and the next one,
which is a whole unique aesthetic all its own.
Right, absolutely, definitely.
All right, and then Fritz is frightened by the same skeleton that everybody else found amusing, which I think is
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. After what he's been through that afternoon.
When it was okay, was he up all night then?
Well, there's no indication it's the same day.
But that's true.
I
guess it could just be another day. There's no. He
probably
slept the day away.
He slept. They were up all night.
They were up all
graves.
Night. Yeah, that makes sense.
And you got to put these things on ice because they probably don't keep.
Oh my goodness.
That's one thing they never really address is the degeneration of this stuff.
Yeah. And there's got to be some.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably turning green. No, I don't. Yeah, so he obviously pulls on that skeleton. To me, it's a little awkward.
A little forced, a little stagey.
A little forced, a little stagey.
Yeah.
But I kind of forgive it because he is frightened.
Yeah.
He looks frightened at that moment.
Yeah, he's...
So maybe you would do something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just did it. I tried to do it like you could hear it. But like kind of, you jump.
Yeah.
So maybe he kind of jumps and grabs the thing.
Well, I think it's interesting too is when he's coming down from the window through the auditorium, he doesn't go straight. He kind of does a little dog leg.
He does.
And he does the same thing going back up.
We haven't got there yet.
No, but he does.
Yeah, he does. He does, yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting. Again, he could just go straight down the side. But he chooses to move some of the desks almost out of his way to do this little dog leg.
Oh yes, I see what you mean. In the desks.
In the
I
desks.
thought you meant after that. But yeah, you're right.
No. When he's going down, he comes in the window. He goes down
like
about halfway.
A straight shot.
Yeah, you think he just goes straight down, but about halfway, he jogs over to his right, or left.
Yeah.
And moves some of the desks out of the way to get down the rest of the.
So he can enter the floor at the center or something, and then even he kind of slides a little bit off to the right, and he uses the back of his hand to kind of wipe his head. He's a mess.
Yeah,
this guy's a mess.
Well, he's you wouldn't probably be the most relaxed at your best if you were doing this. True.
And he's once again he's got the little stick. So he's stumbling around. I guess that's all part of that whole thing. He's stumbling around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that obviously adds to that's whale, but that's probably just standard horror movie stuff too, to have a hunchback
hobbling around. It is and it isn't. I mean, there's a movie called The Magician, as referenced earlier, silent film, that I assume that's where Whale got the idea of setting the laboratory in not necessarily a castle, but this watchtower that we'll see, a few minutes later.
Yeah.
But in that, there is literally a dwarf assistant. So a lot of these things, you know, Whale pulled from other films. I mean, they were existing in the script, but he took it that much further.
Yep.
You know, and he, like I said, he gave Fritz the more personality, doing these little scurrying about. You know, yeah, he comes down from the seats, the desk, goes towards the camera, and he kind of zigzags over to the brains. And he knew where they were because he was watching this lecture.
Yeah, they're not hard to find.
Spot. There's a light right above him.
That's true.
So
the light is right.
Right above him. So he kind of just does these little bits of business, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's right.
You know,
to
give it a little more visual interest.
Yeah, maybe he did it once where he just went down the thing straight, and Whale's like,
kind of boring.
Can you act like your socks aren't quite on tight?
And then it's interesting that he takes the lid off the jar.
Right.
I don't know what the purpose of that is.
So the only thing I can think is, okay, so he takes the lid off the jar, and he brings it over, and then
he brings it into the light to read the label. The light.
So is that what he's doing?
Yeah. He looks at the label.
Ah. Okay, because I was thinking the only thing I can come up with is he takes the lid off it to maybe look at it.
Well, he brings it
maybe he's looking for a scarcity of convolutions on the frontal lobe. It makes no sense that he takes it. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's so weird. It doesn't make sense in the context of the movie or in the context of making a movie. I just have no idea why he takes that lid off.
No, I don't either.
Unless they only had 2 lids. And they're like, you can drop all the jars you want.
Yeah, you got a whole box full of jars.
We got a crate full of jars. We got a good deal on jars.
Those lids are expensive.
2 lids.
So maybe that's
I don't care what you do.
You don't drop that.
You do not drop that lid.
You want to be in the sequel, you do not drop that lid.
You keep your exactly.
But no, he brings it to the light and he examines the label and he examines the contents.
Yeah.
So maybe he did take it off so he could see it better.
Is there a brain in this one? But you know, it's not hard to see the brain.
Well, it's not. You watched the lecture.
It's not clear liquid.
No, it's kind of cloudy.
So maybe.
Well, actually, the normal brain is clearer. I did notice that the abnormal brain, the fluid is a little milkier.
What was it? Did I write that down? What does it say?
Oh, it's something in Latin.
Yeah. I didn't put it in my notes, but it was dysfunctio cerebri or something like that.
Something like that.
So I Googled that, and what comes up is a bunch of Frankenstein stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And then some band in Washington or something named their album that.
Oh, okay.
Which of course means abnormal brain.
Yes,
I guess.
It does. I guess.
But I thought maybe if I Googled it, I could find any reference other than Frankenstein that would tell me is this
a real thing?
Is this a real thing? And
that's why I don't believe it is.
Yeah, no, probably not. Yeah. It's kind of cool though. But the other one's called cerebrum, right? Is the one says cerebrum, the other one says dysfunctio cerebri, which would seem to indicate a plural. I don't
speak Latin.
No, it's a dead language.
It is. Well, the labels are different in this sequence than they were during the lecture, where it says abnormal and normal or whatever.
Yeah.
That's handwritten this time, whereas they were typed labels before.
Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't notice that.
Yeah. It's a little more evident, I believe, in the next minute.
Okay.
Where we get in close, but.
Well, they're definitely handwritten. I remember them being handwritten. I didn't remember them not being handwritten, though. But and when you're talking about the camera is right in on those jars as he's talking, moving back and forth with the pencil.
Yeah.
That's minute 8 if you're keeping.
For those keeping store, I was playing at home.
We'll cut this out and we'll put it in the minute 8 episode. So yeah, as close as that was, and as many times as I've seen it, I didn't notice that it was typed before. All right, well there you go. See, this is why people come.
That's right. That's why you're here. We're here to educate and entertain.
And entertain if we're lucky.
It's edutainment.
What's the gong?
That I was just going to say. Why on earth does a gong go off?
Is Charlie Chan here?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand.
I don't know.
Does that sound offensive? But I mean, this is the era in which a gong would
indicate.
let you know you were watching a Charlie Chan film. So.
Right. Well, it's also
not my fault.
In this instance, it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
It's
lunch. I don't know.
It's what do they call it? Deus ex machina.
Mm-hmm.
To startle him to drop the brain.
Yep.
That's all it is.
And he doesn't seem startled. To me, he looks startled when he does the business with the skeleton, but this is not so well done. The gong happens and then he lets go of it. He doesn't jump or anything. I don't know. It's fine. It's great. It's Frankenstein.
Perfect.
Shut up.
It's a masterpiece. What are you talking? Could you do better?
Yeah. No, I've sung the praises of Dwight Fry, and now I'm here to, I don't know. I've come to bury him. Apparently.
Yeah. No. The gong.
No.
It's an early 30s. Wow, we need something.
Yeah, that's actually
there's sort of
a lack of thought there.
It is. It seems unwhale-like.
Right.
That it's just this gong.
Absolutely.
It makes more sense in Young Frankenstein. In fact, there's a lightning strike.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Igor sees himself in the mirror that startles him.
Right.
That works.
That's actually really
dramatically,
great. Isn't it? Yeah, that's
that
a good
works
point.
a lot better.
Forgotten about that. You're right. That is better.
Yeah.
Wow. Mel Brooks
Brooks.
improved upon James Whale
Who'd have thought?
from a horror perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
So the brain is dropped. That's Norma someone. That's
Okay. The brain is dropped in what?
No, I go ahead.
No.
Well, I was just going to say, how does Henry know that this guy didn't die of a broken neck? Maybe he's got a broken neck.
Well, that's the thing. I was just going to say was that what is the difference between this criminal brain and the criminal brain that would have been in the guy who was hung?
Wow.
The guy was hung. He's clearly a criminal. So he's got to have that.
His life was one of brutality and violence and murder.
Exactly. So what's the difference?
Wow, that's brilliant. I hadn't thought about that.
It would have been the same. Sense. And I'm assuming the body.
Wow, he's really going for... I'm sorry, I can't stop thinking about this. Yeah, he's going for the brain. He doesn't even want that body. He doesn't want that body.
That body's useless
to him. Yeah. He leaves it.
He's got the body in the box.
I got the body I want. Yeah. What I want is this brain from this criminal.
Criminal hung...
We've got to assume a criminal.
Well, I would think, unless he was innocent. And
could have been a...
But they hung everybody for...
Could have been a racial minority that they hung. Yeah, I don't know. You don't get a lot of evidence that they're those kind of people.
Aren't any in any of these.
That's a good point. Hanging or otherwise.
It is. These are the whitest films you will see.
Yeah, that's true. They're like British films.
Yeah.
They're British people.
Yeah.
In Visaria, let's say.
Well, it's. I think even the script just sort of gives it a vague Central European.
Yeah.
I think.
And therefore,
correctly,
if anyone's hanging, probably a white person.
White guy.
Probably a criminal.
Probably
a dastardly criminal.
A marauder, perhaps, or a rapscallion, maybe.
I'm going to go above rapscallion because you don't hang just anybody.
Well, right? I think they were much more willing to do so. I mean, in doing a lot of... I've read more than is healthy for one person to have read about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And, especially back when the book was written...
So we're talking 1818?
Well, I mean, she started in 1816 and wrote throughout the next year. But medical schools needed bodies because they were learning, the book was written literally the dawn of the modern age.
Okay.
Modern medicine, modern industry, all of this was just in its infancy, just starting.
Without reckoning upon
God. And...
well, I mean, that's got to be, I don't know that phrase, but that is what she's talking about. That's what Frankenstein is. That's part of what it's about.
She wasn't talking about it in the original.
And when I say reckoning upon God, I just mean the notion of science progressing faster than better. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think God is mentioned in the original 1818.
Yeah, I didn't even mean the God part. I just meant the science part.
Reckoning,
it's to me, it's like a metaphor.
Yeah, it was progressing very rapidly at that point.
Right.
So medical schools needed these bodies for dissecting, for anatomy classes.
Yeah.
And they could only use, from what I understand, the bodies of criminals. But it sounds like they were hanging everybody for anything. You looked at me wrong. Okay, up you go.
We got another body.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, well that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
but odds are, he was a dastardly criminal.
Yeah. And this other brain. I mean, what a shame, because as I say,
it's a waste of the greatest.
This is the best specimen I have ever seen in all my time in the university.
When Waldman comes in the next morning to get ready for work,
sheds a tear.
What the fuck happened to my brain? He's down on his knees.
Oh, no! Look at the convolutions.
What did it ever do to you?
Yeah, that's true. What jackhole broke in here? These brains will remain here for your inspection. Well, not anymore. Next morning.
Thank you very much.
Next morning's lecture was never again. He's like, yelling at them. You sons of bitches!
Come in here. You're all giving you a
Dismissed.
pop quiz.
Can't believe we decided to go co-ed. Drives everybody crazy.
See what happens. Women with their skirts above their ankles.
Oh my goodness, the scandal.
Yeah. So no answer about why a gong.
So what I was thinking, no, I have no idea about the gong.
I don't think anybody knows.
I assume that both of these brains were from people who had broken necks, because back then everybody died of a broken neck. They were pushing carts up the hill in the mud.
Yeah, well,
it's all. Everybody was breaking their neck left and right.
Maybe, who knows?
Oh yes, consumption.
Consumption.
I don't know though. You won't get those convolutions on the frontal lobe. Consumption.
No. You'd probably find that scarcity.
Okay.
What I've always curious on a technical level is, did the prop department make these?
Yeah, right.
Pierce Pierce wasn't a sculptor. Jack Pierce, the makeup guy,
right,
wasn't much of a sculptor. My impression is that they were made in the prop shop.
Yeah, and probably not something they had sitting around.
No, I'm sure they were made specifically, especially with those kind of the convolutions and the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right. If you freeze frame it, you can see.
Yeah.
That one brain
is pretty messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
How this guy was even able to tie his own shoes.
It's a miracle. Yeah. So a brain would be a fun thing to make for a movie. That's probably got to be. They're probably like, this is good. What'd you do today, honey?
I had sculpted a brain.
Yeah, I made a brain. He didn't like it, so I made another one.
And they're probably plaster back then.
Yeah, so not
soft and squishy, because when it hits the floor,
right,
it doesn't really splat. It sort of thunks to the floor.
Yeah, this isn't a zombie movie.
No.
Yeah, it's not. Any
I mean, it was
movie.
the equivalent of that in its day.
Sure, absolutely.
This was considered pretty strong stuff.
Yep. Well, brains in jars.
Brains in jars, and guys on gibbets.
Guys on gibbets. When you talk about, it's funny, we mentioned Young Frankenstein and this scene. It is one of those things that I probably did see as a kid on Young Frankenstein and was so familiar with it that when I actually started to sit and watch Frankenstein regularly, it was a surprise to me. Like, well, this really is just exactly like Young Frankenstein. Yeah. They really just took it right out of there.
They nailed it pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brains in jars.
Brains in jars.
Doesn't get any better than this.
No, it doesn't.
Prepare for a spine-tingling, nerve-shattering podcast featuring all your favorite monsters. You won't believe your ears when you listen to Monster Kid Radio. Hear your host, Derek M. Cook, and his ever-rotating stable of guests discuss your favorite classic and sometimes not-so-classic monster movies. Subscribe to Monster Kid Radio through iTunes or Stitcher, or visit monsterkidradio.net before the next weekly episode of Monster Kid Radio. Go through the archives for interviews with Sarah Karloff, Victoria Price, and Joel Hodgson. Listen to the discussions about movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Island of Terror, and King Kong. And don't forget convention coverage from Monster Bash and the H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival, Classic Monsters, Modern Talk, and Ahead of Rondo Hatton. Only on Monster Kid Radio.